Hello and happy Monday to you. I hope you guys had a nice weekend and that you will have a great week. So today we are going to look at the class website as usual and see all the stuff that we're going to be talking about. Okay, so here's the website, and it's not the final version of the website as usual. I'll always post the video right here for you to watch. But let's start at the top here. There's no more presentations due this semester because we have a fairly small class, about 10 people, and everybody's done their presentations as far as I know. If you haven't, and we missed you, please let me know, and please finish that off and send me a link to it. So then we're going to jump down here to number 3. If you didn't see last Wednesday's post, please look it up. That is where I posted a video where I finished the CSS study guide that I started earlier that week. And in that video, I showed you some more CSS stuff. We went over some more CSS stuff. And then I kind of wrapped it up and published the tutorial, the study guide tutorial that I made in the videos. So you could use that to study for and as a basis for your take-home test. And then down here, I put a link to the CSS take-home test. These links are all from last Wednesday's post, so you can find all that stuff there as well. Now, if you want to download this study guide and then utilize it in the same way that I did, you have to save it. You have to unzip it and save it as a folder on your desktop or in your documents, and then link to it from Dreamweaver. And I'll show you real quick how to do that. I explain it here, but obviously it's easier to just see it done. So, and you'll have to forgive me in advance if we take a look at my desktop. My desktop is basically the 7th level of hell, and there's stuff from probably 1978 on there. Anyway, so let's say I want to download this study guide and utilize it. So I can click here, and it's going to give me, this is a zip file. So I'll download it. I'll open it up, and here it is in my downloads folder. It unzipped, right? Now I can take this and I could drag it over to my documents folder if I want, or on my desktop or whatever. But if we go into documents here, we can see it's called CSS Study Guide. It's got an index page in it and a style CSS file in it. Okay, so what we need to do in order to be able to use this like I did in the tutorial is open up Dreamweaver and create a new site and point to this folder. So we open up Dreamweaver, we go up to Site, and we say New Site. And then, we can call this whatever we want, CSS Study Guide. And then click on this folder here. Oops, I've already got one, which is why it gives me that red line there. So I'll just call it CSS Study Guide 2. And hopefully the red will go away. Yes, it does. So I click this little folder, and then it'll let me go to my documents. And then I can go to CSS Study Guide. Oops, I went too far. I can just click on it once and then click choose. And so now I've set up a new site, which is basically Dreamweaver, telling Dreamweaver, hey, everything that you need to build this website that we're making is in this folder, right? And that's all you need to do. And then you hit save. And what will happen is your files menu will open up here, and it will show you all the files in that folder. And so all you have to do is double click on index.html, and you'll see the CSS study guide here. Now, 99% of everything that we did on the tutorial is here on this page. There's only one thing that is on the files, the style.css page. And that page comes up when you open the index page. It comes up as a secondary link here. And all I did was I used that to show an example of an external style sheet, right? And that's what this is, an external style sheet. It's external to this page right here. It's a separate page. And so in the index page here, what I did was I included this link here, which is to an external style sheet. It's a link that says it's going to a style sheet that has text and CSS on it, and the name of the style sheet is style.css, which is this. And then I just put this, turn the whole body background blue, and it did that. And so I saw that the external style sheet worked. And that's all I was trying to demo. Then I went and highlighted all this and used a comment over here to comment it all out so that it wouldn't show up anymore. In other words, it would not be effective anymore. When it's gray like that, it's a comment. But it's still in there just for you to see kind of how this works. Okay, so let's go back to the class website here. Hopefully it's here somewhere. Okay, and then it says here's your CSS take-home test. It's due on April 13th. So that is a week from now. I doubt it's going to take you guys that long to do it, but I just wanted to give you plenty of time. So if we download this take-home test, it's a PDF. And basically what I'm doing, very similar to the HTML take-home that you guys did, is I'm saying go ahead and follow the example of what I did in the study guide and create your own version of these styles: a class, an ID, tag style, compound tag, grouping selector, example of inline CSS, put some background colors on text and paragraph, colored border around text, and then all of these are just using different color formats such as RGB and HSL, sometimes with the A on there, which is the transparency. And then using hexadecimal color, which is, the numbers and letters with the pound sign in front. And then at the end here, asking you to just go ahead and make your own style. And of course, you could go to w3schools.com to see some examples of styles we don't cover here, and you can make your own. So all I'm asking you to do is create this, as an HTML page, and save it in your folder, your Google Drive folder as css-test.html. And then that will have you covered for that part of the class. And if you have any questions, please email me, or you can post questions in the forum on the class website, and I'll go ahead and answer those. So hopefully what I went over today and what I went over last Wednesday will be enough information for you to do this CSS take-home test. And like I said, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so in addition to that, we also have to talk about the websites that were due last Wednesday, your first website that you did in the class. These links won't be here when you come look at the website this week. I just left them in here from last week for now, so it's easy for me to go to each website, just to click on these. So what I ask you to do is click on these links and look at the websites, and then go over to the forum, and in the web design area, please go ahead and post comments about everybody's websites. And constructive criticism, I ask that you post something that works, something that could be strengthened, and then something that you really like. If you haven't done that yet, please do. It's a great opportunity for you to learn to give feedback, and also to get feedback about your website. So we can see that a number of people have done that already, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'll just go in and give my 2 cents for these websites right now, and hopefully that will be helpful to you guys. So let me go ahead and start out opening up Delicchio's website here. Okay, and so we've looked at this in class a few times. He's got a really slick design. It's very minimalistic. There's sort of a one-page website look to the beginning here, where it's got the tagline over here, the name of the company logo, which in this case is the artist, and then the main thing that they're featuring here with the hero image behind. And this is nice that you can listen to the music right there. Of course, there's a navigation bar, which we'll use in a second. And then, like I said, it's sort of a one-page website design where he's got like all the key information on the front, the about me, the whatever they're pushing now, which is the featured album, tour dates, videos, and so on and so forth, right? Now, if we click on these other things here, like about, it takes us into a more detailed page with some really cool graphics back there that Delicchio did, look really nice. And then we can go into music. We get all kinds of videos, which looks really nice and well organized. We can see tour dates. And then here's a couple of additional videos. And then, of course, a contact form. Now, I would say what I like about this site is I like the design of it. It's very minimalistic and appealing, and yet the information is well organized so we can get everywhere. Now, as far as like a suggestion for maybe improving the site, um, we have a music section here, which let's see what all this is. So this is going to take us to the Bandcamp area, right? Um, so this is going to be music, and then videos are separate over here. Um, I was going to say that maybe the music and videos could be combined into one area, but after looking back at this, I don't think I'm going to make that suggestion because I think it is kind of nice that they're in two different areas. Um, if you did want to do that, you could, if that was something that was appealing to you to create even more minimalism, Delicchio, you could have a link called media. And then underneath that could be the music and the video drop downs. That would remove one link here and make it so people could still get to all that stuff. So that's a consideration whether you want to do that or not. Um, as far as what I really like about this site, I think that what I mentioned earlier was I like the minimalism and everything, the design, and I also want to talk about so two things. I talked about something that could potentially strengthen the site. I talked about what I like, and I want to talk about what's working about the site. And what I think is working is I think that the aesthetic of the site seems to match the aesthetic of the artist, and that's really important. There's a black and white site, and there's a really beautiful black and white picture of the gentleman, and who's the artist, of course. Excuse me for getting the school thing here. Um, and then, of course, what's nice is when you go to something like the music page, that in this black background, the colors really pop out. So that's a nice contrast. So I think Delicchio's done a nice job. So good work, sir. All right. So let's close this one up. Let's go back. Here, we'll close this other Bucky window. Let's look at Grady's site here. Um, well, actually, Grady's site, I use that as an example in the forum already. I talked about what I liked about his site, but I'll just quickly review that. So what I think works about his site is that it's a great example of a personal music site that someone could build, and of course they could build this for any sort of media they want. It could be stories or images or music or videos. So he's built a wonderful personal music site. I think that's working really well for him here, and it's a good example for others. The example that I gave in the past and keep giving, but as I said, it doesn't matter if he ignores me because it's his personal site is, this is way too big of a header for really any site. I mean, if you took this little treble clef here and shrank it down to like 3/4 of an inch and put it up here and said my taste in music, everything here would move up about 5 inches. And so it'd be easier on mobile devices and even on desktops to get to this. So that's something that could be improved. And then, of course, what I like about the site, well, I just like how well organized it is and how much depth there is to it. Obviously, it's going to take a long time to fill out all these areas, but he's got all the time in the world and all the incentive to build this into something that is his own personal library. So, nice job there, Grady. Okay, let's see. So then we've got Joseph here. Let's open up his site. And so here's Joseph, and he is doing a site which is about himself as a photographer. If we go to the home page here, he's obviously got a very robust graphic approach to his website. He's going for the color. He's got a black background and then insane amounts of color here to really grab your attention. Of course, the color is still kind of in the background and it's surrounding the content itself, which are things like these pictures of photographers, right? He's got some things here down in the bottom, which are what we call widgets in the footer, a calendar and categories you could select. So that could have some usefulness to it. We could go in here to the About section, And here is a photo of Joseph and a bio, which is nice. Now, I said what I like about the site is uh, or what's working about the site is I think the nice colors really draw your eye to it. One of the things that I think could be improved about the site is, in general, when you're putting block of text like this, you generally left align it. It's really only headlines that are centered. People are used to reading text left align. It actually becomes a little difficult for them to read centered text. But also, it's a little difficult to read text that's over a colored background. So Joseph might want to use a div tag, a div tag, to put a div behind this and then use some CSS to give it a background color, like even a white or a black or a gray or whatever, just so we could see this text a little easier and left align it as well. Now, that being said, you can still read it, but these are just things that I think would be improvements. Okay, and then we go into the portfolio section, and we've got some beautiful photographs here. And of course, this is an area where he could put a photo gallery. And there's different photo galleries he could use, like Next Gen Gallery, which is NEXTGEN. You could look that one up and post the gallery in here. He seems to have posted specific still pictures. Oh, there we go. Wait, I think we had a gallery. There we go. There it is. And so these are some beautiful pictures we have here that he's taken. Wow, these are really cool. Okay, and then let's see, how do we get out of this and go back? Okay, so that was landscape, I guess, and here's black and white. Once again, beautiful photos. I love to see you guys showing us your work in here, which is awesome. I think maybe one suggestion for this area is to take all these still photos and basically just remove them and just put these two up at the top so people could instantly click into the galleries themselves and see all those beautiful big photos. And then we have a contact section here. And once again, that same idea about it being hard to read stuff against a colored background. So if you put a div tag around this, it will help make that text stand out. And Joseph, if you have questions about that, I can do a little video demo and show you how that's done. Okay, but nice job, beautiful photographs. Obviously a big lover of color here, and that's very appealing to some people, the whole rainbow spectrum and also the universe colors. Very nice. Okay, let's see. Next we have Jesus. Let me open that link in the new tab. I think I got there in two places. So on this one, I'm gonna go back to the Dreamco side. I'll let this one open up. Okay, so here we have Jesus, and he's got a cool logo here that has this kind of blurring video effect on it, which is very nice. And then the search products, it's kind of hard to read that search products, but you can see the little blue magnifying glass, which we all recognize, so that probably works okay for that. Okay, we have some links here, and then obviously we have a shopping cart, so he's probably using something like WooCommerce. And so here's the shop. It says click to shop for designed items, and these are some examples, maybe a t-shirt with this cool design on it. And then we have a bunch of different links we can go to here. He's got some information down here that we can access, the privacy policy. Here's an additional navigation bar. Here's some social media, and there is his email address right there. And then this is just a credit for the companies that made the software that he used. So let's go ahead and go through this site a little bit so we can navigate through several different ways. Now, one of the things that I notice, if I just kind of bring the site like this, is here it says Home, About, Designs, Illustrations, Shop, but then we have some different links down here, like we have Portfolio down here, but not up here. So a couple things. You might consider whatever order you put this in, it should obviously be most important first on the left, going to least important on the right. And if that's going to be the case, you might want to emulate that that order up here. Of course, making sure to have a home link because we always need that. So then there would add some consistency to the site. But I'll go down here and click on shop and see what we can see. So here he's got this sort of the default WooCommerce content in there, which is what all this junk is. And he's left it in there, just to fill up the page. But then we can see the items that are actual items that he added. In this case, he added a whole category, which is phone cases. And then you can click on individual phone cases and select the options for those cases. So things like what phone it's going to be. So let's say iPhone 11, how many copies of that you want, add to cart. And then if we go up here, let's see. Yeah, it has been added to my cart. We can see a little drop down menu that appears here, and we could go right to view cart or checkout. Okay, so that's very nice. He's got a description down here and related products. That all works really well. Now I'm just going to keep going back to the home page here to try these different categories, right? So illustrations and let's see, awaiting content. That's pretty funny. These placeholders here. Here is our example, sad Naruto drawing. Very nice. And then, of course, these would all be, you know, I'm assuming everything on the site might be for sale, but it might be a combination of things that are for sale and also portfolio for Jesus. So let's go in here, and I suspect all these are portfolio type items. But let's see, designs, and once again, awaiting content. And here's the design. Or let's see what's happening here. Okay, I'm not getting a pop-up when I click on this, so I just assume that's some little error in the programming there. But you might want to check into this, Jesus, and make sure that that you have this set up so that there's a blow-up version of it that we can go to, because it seems to be just the small version. So check into that. That's obviously something that could be strengthened about the site. Portfolio. Okay, and then that page is probably not done yet because we can't find it. So maybe make a mock-up of that page or remove that link. And then about, and this is also just a placeholder page. So maybe put some content in those two pages and or remove the links so that we can see what's going to be there. Okay, but overall, I think this looks really great. I like the individual touches, like the logo and the unique art and the way that he's approaching his store. I like that he's got his own look and feel, based on this theme, and it feels very personal and yet professional. So I think he's got a great start on creating a website here, which is, potentially to sell his personal work in different formats. So awesome. All right, let's close that up, and let's go ahead and go to Heather. So we're going to open this link in a new page. Okay, and then Heather has something called Passages Travel, and we got some beautiful pictures here, and telling us, encouraging us to go traveling with this company. And of course, we have this orange, and we know from sort of color design that orange is a very welcoming, warm color. And so that would be an incentive for us to, click on these links here and use the services. So we click on destinations here. We get this nice animation that comes in, might have been created with the program that we're all using, which is, of course, Elementor, is good at creating those little animations. And so we can see these are different places that you can vacation to. Here's some lorem ipsum text to show us that, these are some destinations, and then there's some descriptions of them. They're going to be filled in. And of course, you can click on these pictures and you have a nice little photo gallery of all the locations you can visit. Okay, so that's nice. Those are the destinations we can go to. If we look at packages, also, again, a nice animation. And then these are, once again, placeholders for the different packages where we can go. This is nice, this side menu here. And obviously these are things that would be linked to if this were a real site, but that's a lot of links. So I understand why Heather just kind of posted this here instead of linking it all to fake content. And then more cool pictures. this is called sub navigation when you have navigation like down the side here as opposed to the top. And once again, a bunch of places you might need to go to on the website to fix problems when you're using customer service. And then, of course, we have our contact form. So overall, I think that this is a nice looking site. It's very attractive. Um, I think what I think is working about this site is the welcoming look of it and the pictures that pull you in. Things that I think could be strengthened about this site, I think maybe a custom logo could be made for passages and dropped up there. Maybe some of the content on certain pages could be filled in with real content, like this text down here. Instead of using Lorem Ipsum text, we could put in some actual handwritten content that would spice up the site a little bit. Maybe beg, borrow, or steal that from existing travel websites and customize it for your own. And then something that I really like about the site, I think I like the taste that's employed in this site. I think the beautiful pictures with the very bright colors and the minimalistic design make for really appealing package. So I think Heather's chosen a good theme for this type of site, and that it would be effective if this were a real company. So yeah, looks excellent. All right, let's go ahead and close this one. And next we'll go to Ariana. Okay, here is Ariana's site, and I'm probably going to murder this with my poor Spanish, but it might be Deseo or Deseo. But anyway, I do know that that means gift, or the idea of giving, and that the idea behind her site is that you can give gifts to these worthy causes. This is brilliant right here. A message from our CEO regarding COVID-19, which of course is everywhere we look these days. So I think it's very realistic to put that on a website. So what we have here is, we have this little carousel here, which is showing us pictures. And of course, it's the standard design where you can, sort of zoom ahead with these little guys, the arrows, or even click on these little dots down here to go to different pictures. These are some of her sponsors or partners, and of course her social media. And she replicates the main menu down here, along with a copyright and a credit for the theme, the company that made the theme. Now, here is our link main toolbar up there. It's kind of nice in the center. I like the minimalism of the site. I think that's really working out for her. I think that this is kind of a large amount of space right here. And my guess is Ariana probably didn't want it to be that much space, but she may have been, stopped by her inability to figure out what the heck she had to change here to get that to move up. I mean, maybe she liked it. Maybe she liked it because of all the space that was here. But I know that this is a very common issue, is to try and get rid of extra space, and I know I've struggled with this in the past. One of the ways to figure out what to change in your CSS is to open up, the website tools. I'm in Firefox here, so this is how you get to those. You go to Web Developer and you go to Toggle Tools. In some websites, browsers, it opens up on the right. In this case, it's opening on the left or on the bottom. And you click on this little tool icon and you go up here and you click. You try to click in the area here that's creating the space, right? And right here we have this thing called div site branding, right? And this is probably where they're telling you can upload a logo, and then WordPress will publish it for you there. But she's put it down below that. But there's still this big empty area here, right? So if I click on that, it shows me, div class, site branding, and then we go to site branding, and these are all the styles. This is the selector, and these are all the properties, right? Now, one of the properties here is called display block. Now, I'm going to have to experiment a little because I'm not used to this theme or this website. I'm going to experiment a little, see what I can do to help get rid of some of that space. So one thing I could do is I could change display block to display none. and immediately that solves our problem, right? So you see how all that space disappeared. Now, me doing this here in the web tools doesn't actually change anything. It just changes our view of this, right? In order to change this, I would have to go into the CSS for the website, and I would have to put in a .site branding style and change the display from block to none. So this is just like my preview of what can work, right? Now let me go ahead and try and log into Ariana's site so I can make that change and show you where that change would occur. So of course, to get into her site, I'm going to go to wp-admin. Okay, and then I'm going to put let's see, 61, which is going to be her username, and then the world's most annoying password, because they all are these incredibly long and horrible passwords. My apologies, but I didn't come up with them. They're sort of automatically created. So here we go. Just be patient with me as I put in all these scary letters and numbers. Let's see. Okay, and I'm getting there. And then one more of these. Now, with any luck, I got that right. I would hate to redo this. Okay, good. We got it right. Okay. Now, uh, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Appearance and Customize. This is going to be the same on virtually every site. And then I'm going to go down here to Additional CSS. And there's going to be a section here where you can add your own CSS, right? Now, once again, just as a reminder, if I click on this toggle tools and I go up here, that what we want to do is we want to adjust the .site branding selector to have display none, right? So what we would do is we would put .site dash branding, which is of course a class because it has that dot in front of it, right? And then we put the beginning curly brace, and of course it's going to give us both curly braces, so we can hit our enter button to move that second one down. And then, we don't have to adjust all of these things. I mean, uh, in some cases you have to adjust multiple properties here, but in this case, all we have to do is say that for the display, and we can put a colon, that we want it to be none, right? And then you see that kind of update automatically here. And then we can just hit the publish button. And now, as opposed to this tool, this web tool, which just showed us a preview, now we have actually changed it for real in this custom CSS area here. And you can see over here now that there's a line through that, which means that that is no longer applicable because we've written something in the custom CSS, and whatever's in the custom CSS tends to override what's on the regular website, right? Now, Ariana might be sitting at home going, "Oh, I like that space. I did that intentionally." And if that's the case, my apologies. I'm sorry about that. But anyway, this is at least a useful tool for us because I know that this is something I deal with on virtually every website. Extra space at the top, and this is one of the ways that you can get rid of that. Okay, now let me go ahead and close some of this stuff here and go back to the website proper. And let's see if I refresh it. There we go. So now just to look in some of these sections of her site. Okay, and it looks like I'm still I'm still logged in, which is why we get things like edit buttons. But here's a beautiful picture, which is gonna, tell us a little bit about the site, what their purpose is. This tells us how it works, and I believe from her explanation that you can make basically wish lists, or maybe you can pay for items that these companies or individuals need. Uh, and then these are some of the partners that you can make those wish lists for. Here's news, which would be might be a blogging area about uh, the service itself, and then a contact form. Okay, and so let's see. Now for the contact page here, you might want to do something like include a contact form. More than likely, you would want that. Um, and one of the easiest ways to do that is to use contact form 7. So if I go under plugins and installed plugins, I can see she's got Elementor and the classic editor, both of which I highly recommend. But another plugin uh, to get would be something like Contact Form 7. And so you can do a search for that. And I always forget whether the 7 is supposed to be part of the form, the word form or not, and I always get it wrong. So then if I put that space in there, it comes up. So we click Install Contact Form 7 and Activate, and it immediately installs that, and it puts a button over here called Contact. Now what's nice about Contact Form 7 is they automatically make a new contact form for you. And so all you have to do is click here and copy this code, which is called short code. Any code with little brackets around is called short code. And then you simply go into your pages section. You go into the contact us, and in this case, we'd have to edit it with Elementor because it was made in Elementor. And then here, we might drag a text editor in here, and then we might put in this contact form information, this short code here. And then we can hit update, and then there's the contact form, right? So now we can hit this little button, this eyeball here to preview this. And so now she has actually a working contact form. And, once again, Ariana's not here, so I can't speak to her intentions, but this is just valuable information for really anybody that wants to add that to a site. So let's go back to the main site here. Once again, I love her idea, and I love the minimalism of the website. We've looked at some different things that could be considered strengthening the site, like getting rid of the space, adding a contact form, and but I think it really works. As a site, I think the pages are really nice, and I think that the service is a great idea, and this would make a really nice portfolio site for her if she wants to go that route. Okay, so let's see what's next. We have Dylan. Let me close some of these other pages here. All right. Okay, so Dylan obviously has a very specific audience that he is appealing to, and it's the gym rats, if I can use that terminology. Guys who and gals who go to the gyms, they have their own lingo. Swole sups is something that they would understand. So swole meaning, according to Dylan, being like somebody who works out a lot and you're like swollen with muscles or whatever. And sups are supplements, so vitamins or other sort of enhancements that help you in that regard. So these are some things: herbal supplements. Here's some an energy boost, and then amino acids. And this is great, that flash sale on dumbbells. And here's a little carousel where he's showing some different products that you can get. So that's all very nice on the homepage. He's got some products here and some services and the contact. So this is cool. You can download their logo. Oh, that's nice. I like that. And this is a cool logo that Dylan designed, which is very nice. And then let's see, a chat feature here, which would allow you to chat with the folks over at Swole Subs. I want to see this. Okay, yeah, and so that's very awesome. A good idea for services, workouts. Uh, this is a great picture here. This dude right here, kind of actually scary. Uh, and here's some different information for you. We're assuming that this would be, this information would be supplemented with uh, more content, more text-based content, but it's just kind of placeholders for now. And then under products, pre-workout products, so all the stuff that you can try. He's got a nice, I like the idea of the picture over here, and then a little a div that's surrounded by a colored border that has some information in it that's very appealing, I think. Looks cool. I'm not sure what happened with this design. It looks a little stretched. Maybe it was on the taffy pulling machine a little too long. But you can see that it looks like it's a little smaller there. But it looks like Dylan's making his own products using his logo and everything, which is really super fun. So um, I think what's working about this site is that it caters to a specific audience. I think some things that could be improved. Um, I think that there could be a little more. He's put a fair amount of content on here, so I wouldn't really, I couldn't dock him on that, because for most of you guys, when you get past a certain amount of content, you're just going to put lorem ipsum and placeholder text in because you don't want to go insane on this project, which makes sense. I would say that maybe some of this could be organized a little more cleanly, like having a carousel that's small and then a button to the right. It would probably be better to have the carousel take up the whole width of the page here and have maybe your button following it. But this may be Dylan experimenting with using different layouts and stuff and putting content in different sections. And so like I said, what I like about the site is that it's appealing to a specific audience. I like the fact that he's gone ahead and created a cool logo and even his own products, and I think that shows a lot of initiative on his part. And so I think it's a pretty fun website that works. All right, so good job there, and let's close that up. Let's go back to here. Let's see, we've got Vaughn's website here. Okay, and Vaughn has made an eyeglasses website, Migain, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. What you see matters, shop men, shop women. We've got the navigation bar and a nice block of color here with some attractive products there. And of course, this is cool that the whole background color changes for the section. It's all just one big picture, and that's super nice. Okay, and so then down here, we have some sections here where she's touting all the benefits of this product in different colors. We've got a best-selling section here, which is very common on WooCommerce or e-commerce sites. Some coupons, and then some reviews. Here are some brands that work really well, and then there is a footer which has a bunch of good information in it, right, including the navigation bar down there, or the social media. This is her navigation recap right there at the bottom. Okay, so let's go back up here and click on some of these links. So shop men, shop women. So we could go from here. Whoa, okay, so these are just rollovers, but they're not. Oop, there they go. That's the actual link. Okay, so here are some examples of the products for men, right? And there's several pages of those. And of course, we can click on a item to see the blow up. It's called a detail page. It gives us the information, and then we can add that to the cart, and we can view the cart, and then that will allow us to do our whole checkout system, right? So that looks very good. I'll go back here to all products. I could go back to the beginning and click on shop women, and then we would get, presumably the different products for women, but it looks like it may all be just sort of one product set here, and maybe if you click on those links, you go to products that are specific for men or women, right? So the products look really good. Under the about section, the services that they provide, nice picture here, and then these are all the services. And then we have lenswear, and this gives you some information about the different lenses you could get, and you can set an appointment here. I don't know if that works or not. Okay, but it's definitely a good idea to have that link there to go to what would obviously be a complicated section, an appointment page. We've got a contact section here, which looks like it's got the the locations and the map One thing that you might want to add to this page is the contact form. And there might be one already pre-designed with this theme, and you just have to click to turn it on. Or you could add contact form 7 like we did in Ariana's site. And then for the account, this is obviously where you go log into your personal account on this website. If we want to, we've looked at this already, but that's the shopping cart. You can fill in your information and check out. So overall, a really nice looking site, very professional. She's using a very professional theme that has many things built into it already, and that's a real advantage because then she just has to fill in content and make color decisions and design decisions, and very quickly she can have a really good looking site. And she can use whatever content comes with the site, like these glasses, as placeholders, and then just replace it with her own products. So, as I said, some things that could be changed here, things like adding the contact form um, on that page. Maybe more products, so there's a clearer division between shop men and shop women. And what I like and what I think is working about the site are the beautiful graphics and the design of the site itself, which seems to be very streamlined and works really well. Okay, amazing. Let's see. I had 2 pages open for that, so 3 pages. Wow, somehow I managed to open 3 pages on that. Okay, let's go over here to Trevor and look at his site. Okay, so we've got kind of a loading screen, and then here are some graphics that I believe Trevor did, which look really cool. Some different projects, posters and things, where he probably created these logos, or if he didn't create the logo, he created everything that goes with it. So that's a pretty great use of his talents. He's gone for a very, sort of clean logo design up here for himself, and he's got his pictures showing right here. I love this little drippy background thing. And then these are great, these little fake quotes here. Bob Smith, nice. We know who that is. That's Kevin Smith. And then this is John Doe. I don't know if that's really John Doe, the singer, or just some random guy. But he's done a nice job here. The design is very consistent with his sort of metal look of these posters. So of course we can go to the gallery, and this little loading screen might be because there's sort of a Flash type of content, although Flash obviously isn't prevalent on the web anymore. It might be something like HTML animation, or it might just be that there's a lot of content that loads, so it takes time. So here he's got his posters, which are great, and you can click on them and see blow-ups, which is also awesome, and close that and look in here at all the content. So this is great. He's done a really nice job of producing a portfolio site where he's got a gallery here of his stuff. We can click here and go to the About Me section, and here he is, and a nice picture and some information about Trevor, which is great. And then let's see, this tells us this would be his blog, and he's telling us about information about his site. Finish this website, show the world my work, and it's also April Fool's Day. That's true. It was April Fool's Day when this was due. So, but once again, this looks really great. The whole drippy thing, and then in the contact section, wow, this is a really cool looking contact form. I don't know where he found this, but it looks awesome. Looks like a phone. Uh, anyway, so going back to the homepage here, so I think that Trevor's done a really nice job of incorporating his aesthetic into his personal website here. And there's things that look really great. I love the orange color and the black background. It's sort of a Halloween-y theme. Um, One thing that I think could strengthen the site a little bit is if he made his carousel here less tall, small enough so that it would fit in most browsers what we call above the fold, which is what you can see in the first screen when you look at a website. If you have to scroll down, he was probably going for the fact that he wants to fill up the whole screen with his pictures here, but if you have to scroll down to do that, that's it puts a little burden on the user. They would, I think, most users would love to be able to see everything just in this screen, even if it's smaller, and let it scroll by instead of having to scroll down. So that's a consideration. But I do love, his work and the fact that he's put this cool gallery together, and some real unique touches here, like the contact page and everything. So a very well done job. Okay, so let's go now to Daniel Santa Cruz. Okay, so let's see. We'll open up Daniel's here. And here is the Neo Tours website. And here's a form that you can fill out to find your perfect destination. And he would populate these fields with information that would allow us to do a search and take us to our favorite place to go. Looks like he's got a little doubling here. Whatever the plugin is, the section that he's trying to create here, it looks like it's coming in twice. So maybe we can log into his website in a second and see what's going on there. But let's look at around a little bit. He's got a nice picture up here. We'll go to destinations. Yeah, I am getting this kind of crazy doubling thing happening here. So I think there's some issues here that need to be addressed. Actually, this is not a doubling thing. These are just drop-down menus that are happening in sort of a weird place over here. So that obviously needs to be addressed. But let's look at some of the things that are working. We have some beautiful pictures here, that take you to those individual sections where there would be more information. I noticed that on this page, we've got just the footer a single time, so maybe there's something wrong with the home page where it's duplicating it. Also, we have some drop-down menus here that seem to be working over here, and they're sort of duplicated over there. So that's something to look at. We have the My Account, which will log you into information about your account. You can go back to the home page. You can sign up, for this service and so on and so forth. And then he's got a whole e-commerce system working here. So let's see what we can see about some of these issues that are occurring here. So I'm going to log into his website, wp-admin. And what I'll do, just to save us some time, is I'll go ahead and pause this recording while I put in the crazy password so that you guys don't have to wait around for that. So let me pause this real quick. Okay, so I have put in the password and username and successfully logged into his website. So now we can go over here to the pages section, and we could start out by looking for the home page. And the home page is always going to have this text front page if it's an Elementor page there, so we can click on Edit with Elementor to speed up the process of loading that page. And we can go down here, and yeah, we can see right here that there's a double footer action happening here. And let's see, if we click Edit, I'm unfamiliar with this particular website, so it might take a second to figure out what's going on here. So let me once again pause this so I can take a minute to look at this to see if there's any solution to what's going on. Okay, so I just took a minute to look at this issue of the double footer down here on the home page, and I have to admit I'm kind of stymied as to what's going on there. Because the footer is on every page of the site, that means that there's on the home page, somehow there's extra code that got put in that added an additional footer to the home page. Now, when I go in to edit this in Elementor, it doesn't give me the option to remove this section, this extra footer, so we're kind of screwed there. So unfortunately, the best advice I have for fixing this problem is to basically rebuild the home page. Now, if we're going to do something like that, what we could do is leave our existing home page to go to and grab code for rebuilding the page. And let me show you what I would probably do to make a new home page like this. So first of all, I would go into Add New, and I could add a new page here. So I could call this, I don't know, we'll just call it new home for the sake of argument here. And we're going to say edit with Elementor. And now when we look at this page here, you can see that it only has the single footer here. So that means that what we could do is, grab the content off of that other page, the existing home page, and paste it in here until we have a similar looking page. Now I'm just going to grab a text block and put it over here and say, this is the new home page. Okay, and then publish that. Now, let's just have a look so we could preview this, and we could see that, wow, it's totally jacked. We don't even see our little text there. Wow, some crazy things are happening with this site, which is, of course, no fun at all. So obviously there's some issues here that that we need to look at. I'm going to click this edit with Elementor, and nothing is happening, so that's encouraging. Now what happened here? It didn't publish this text that I put in for some bizarre reason. I wrote this is the new homepage over here. It should have published that in this area, but it decided that there was no reason to do that. That's bizarre and wrong. So let's try one more time. Text editor, drag it over here. Oops, sorry. Drag it on the text widget there. Okay, now I click in here, and it looks like there's some text there that I can highlight, which is this stuff, I assume. And then I try to type in here. Wow. It looks like there's just some issues with this site. I can't imagine. Let's see if maybe there's anything I can do over here as far as like the size of the text or anything. So let's see, style, advanced. I don't see anything over there. So yeah, unfortunately, and who knows what this is the result of, but it feels like this website is kind of jacked. I hate to be the one to say that, but obviously here's an area where things should just be working normally and they're not. So it could be that there's some errors in the code, that maybe it didn't get installed properly, maybe something got corrupted. But obviously this is problematic for Daniel, because any page he wants to change or make new things to might have some issues with it. So I'm just going to ignore what I was trying to do here. And I created this new homepage, but unfortunately that's not going to work because there's issues with Elementor and with this website. So unfortunately, like I was saying, the way to fix that homepage would have been to create a new homepage and copy the content over, but we can't even do that because something's gone wrong with the code. So unfortunately, the same holds true for the website in general, which is if you wanted to fix this website, you'd have to create a new version of the site. Set up a new version, a new folder, a new directory on the server, install WordPress again, put the theme in, and then just basically recreate your content. Because now things like this crazy menu that's just hanging out here makes sense as to why this is jacking up. Clearly, something is jacked up in the code, and unfortunately for Daniel, he's probably struggled with this, and he's kind of in a cul-de-sac. He's in the corner here because it's clear to me that something's messed up with the website itself. So that needs to be recreated in order to solve the problem. Now, what's good about this is a teachable moment because you learn that sometimes, even when you do everything right, it's not your fault. Things just jack up, and there is a time to start over. And it's I know it's a pain to recreate things, but it's easy enough to create a new directory, to create to install WordPress and to drop the theme in there, and then just kind of pull your content over. It's certainly a lot easier to deal with than dealing with this messed up code. So for Daniel, I'm going to say, you don't have to recreate the website. That's too much work right now. You did do a nice job on what you created here, and clearly you ran into some issues that are not your fault, that can't really be fixed. So, we're just going to let those be as they may, and give you the advice like I did that at some point you need to abandon ship and start over in order to fix some problems that you can't resolve any other way, right? So, okay, but overall, I think he's done a nice job with his logo and with his content that he's got in here, and the solution to fixing the problem I've already discussed. Okay, very nice. So let's go next to Cassandra. Let's open this link in a new tab. I think I can close this one here. Okay, and so here is Cassandra's website, and so you can scroll down. You can see that she makes nice things, and these are some of the things that some of her skill sets. She's got a contact form right here on the front page, and you can send the message, and of course a footer with a nicely designed logo there. Now, I happen to know that Cassandra's working on a beautiful little video of an app that she's designed, which is going to, I believe, take the prominent place here on the website. So that's why we see nothing here. But rest assured, there'll be some cool stuff here eventually. Now we can roll over this to get the menu, and we can go to the graphics section here. And this is going to be a place where we can look at some different graphics that she's done in a portfolio format. She has a real skill and talent with logos. This is her app, Cake Boy, which is going to display on the home page, so that all looks really nice. And that's the graphics section. We can go to the web section, and this is going to be populated with examples of her web work, I'm sure. The app we already talked about is going to be the Cake Boy app, and she'll probably have some pictures here with that. The About section, and just some information about Cassandra here. There's her picture and a little bio about her, and she's kind of spaced it out in a very minimalistic way to make it look very attractive and informative, which is nice. And then, of course, a contact page here, and it looks really nice. So the point here is that, oh, and that contact link takes you to the front page, to the contact form, which is the bottom of the front page. So the thing I would say about Cassandra's site is clearly there's a few areas which are just placeholders like this, and the web design, which is, and I know she's working hard on creating all that content to put in here because she wants to use this as a site to help promote her work. So overall, looking at the design of the site, I like her logo. I like the theme that she's picked. I think that the areas where we do have content, like the graphic area, work really well, and we can see her work and the portfolio here. I think things like this, uh, you know, uh, I'm not quite sure what's going on here with this side picture here, and I don't know if this is something that's going to go away. If there's going to be, one possibility would be she and I talked about having a different graphic on every page, and I think that's what her goal is to have sort of a different hero image on every page. And so when we have a chance, we'll talk about that and see what we can make happen here on her site. But overall, I think she's got a great sort of shell, if you will, holding all her content. She's customized it nicely, and the content we do see is very nice. And then she'll obviously fill that with more stuff as she finishes it. So it's going to look really good. It's going to be a really great website. Okay, and then we have Daniel Streeter. Okay, and he has done the Stone Bank website, and like the logo here, obviously, if you're going to have a bank, you want it to appear very stable and secure. That's where people want to put their money. He's got some nice pictures and a footer here, and that gray thing looks really great. It looks like not only is it a design element, but it is reminiscent of like a chart showing your money or whatever your investments going up. So it's sort of a subtle communication, visual communication. Hey, if you bank with us, you're going to make money, right? You can click on this final location, and here's the final location area. It's going to have a beautiful picture, and obviously there'll be some text content over here. Let me go back to the beginning here, create an account. And same thing, placeholder here. Daniel, you could drop in some lorem ipsum text here if you want, just to show us what the text is going to look like. And loans and policies, it's a cool little circle thing. Same thing here, we could have a big picture and then some text underneath it. Now, just as a little reminder, those of you who are looking for the lorem ipsum text, so lipsum.com is short for lorem ipsum. And then you just go down here, you scroll down and you say how many paragraphs of content you want, you generate that, and then you can just, copy a couple of paragraphs of that and throw them into your site for layout purposes. Here is the cards and accounts page, and it's got some nice graphics here, and we can see that actually Daniel is well aware of the lorem ipsum because he's got it right there. So then business tools, and then this is a page that he's still fleshing out pictures and images. This is a good example of where he's going to end up, which is having some nice text up here, lots of minimalistic design with lots of negative space around it, and then this actually has real text in here and the picture. So this is what we would imagine the site would look like in general. Let's see, contact. There's a working contact form, and of course a little login area where a form could be put. So I would say in general he's got a super nice design here. Obviously there's a lot of content to put in, so he's got some placeholders. He's got to put in some placeholder text, some pictures, maybe a placeholder form here to really flesh this out and make it look a whole. Now also always remember, regardless of what site you're doing, always put a home link right here at the beginning. People will look for that. I know there's the assumption that everybody knows to click on this logo to get back home, but not everybody does. There's some older people who won't get that and will be looking for the home, so you might want to install that. But overall I think the site looks great, and like I said, flesh it out with more content, even if it's just lorem ipsum and placeholder content, so we can see what it's all going to look like. So kind of similar to that one page that we saw that looks really good. Okay, very nice. All right, so overall, I think you guys did a great job. A lot of variety, a lot of really interesting things. Obviously, we ran into some issues. Some of them are, code errors. Where like Daniel Santa Cruz's site, where we basically have to start from scratch and build that over to fix those problems. Sometimes it's faster to start over than try and fix problems inherent with a site, and you learn that with web design. And then there's other things like adding contact forms and aesthetic choices that can be improved. But overall, you guys, I think, have done a really nice job. Now, if you haven't yet had the chance to look at everybody's site and make comments, please do that in the forums, in the web design forums, so that everybody can get your feedback. You can also look at the feedback from other people about the sites and about your site, and hopefully that will help reinforce what you're learning about web design. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to the post here. And of course, we've completed our first website, and I've given you guys some comments, some feedback on that. The next step is to go ahead and do the CSS take-home test, and you've got plenty of information, the study guide, a couple of videos, and then the test itself to do and turn in by April 13th. And then, of course, after we've done that, the next step is going to be to do our final project, which is one more website. Now, I interacted with SiteGround, who's hosting our websites, and they were generous enough to give all of us a free website to do this second site on, and that information is here. And what you have to do is just click this link, and you'll go to this section where you can get the free website. Now, this website will be free for 3 months, and then after that, if you want to keep the website, this is what's really nice about it. You can sign up for their discounted rate of $3.95 a month for 1 year, and then it goes up to, I believe, $11.95 a month. But what you'll need to do is you'll need to click the sign up button here, and you'll need to fill this out, and you'll need to remember to use your Pima email address, because what they've done is they've added the mail.pima.edu to their database so that any one of us that enters that can get the free website for 3 months. So what you're going to want to do is fill all this stuff out. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch here, but I guess I got to fill it out. So here I go. So let's see. Well, the problem here is if I use my existing email address, I already have an account. So let me think about what I'm going to do here real quick. Okay, well, unfortunately, I think that if I try to fill this out because I do have an account, they're going to say, oh, you already have an account. So what I'll say to you instead is for you to go ahead and, oh, I clicked on that and it put all my information in there like that. I'll just throw that in there so you can see it. But anyway, put in your, and like I said, it would be your Pima email address. Yours is going to be mail.pima.edu. Come up with a password. If you want to, you can use your MyPima password if that's easy for you. Fill out all this information. They've already got this stuff filled out for you, and then go ahead and click Pay Now. Uh, you know, uh, Click all this. Well, don't click that one. That's spam. But click this one, and then go ahead and sign up for this. Now, I'm going to go ahead and click this login because it already knows me that I have an account. And here we go. Now, once you are all signed up, and I don't know, they'll probably send you an email confirmation and some other information. So check your Pima email, click on whatever, verification or whatever they have. Eventually, they're going to say, okay, you're good to go. And then you'll be able to go to SiteGround and click in the top right corner to log into your site. Now, when you log in, I don't know if they're going to give you a special student control panel. I sincerely doubt it. It'll probably be something that looks like this. But let me show you how you would go about setting up your first WordPress site. You go to My Accounts, and of course it's just a little slow here today. Maybe there's heavy internet usage. I'm not really sure. Maybe my internet connection is a little slow. But then the next thing you would do is go to cPanel, which stands for Control Panel. And then you would be able to install a WordPress site by clicking on this auto installer where it says WordPress. Now all you have to do to install your site is click Install Now. And then what's going to happen is they probably will have assigned you some sort of generic URL here. When you sign up, they might give you the opportunity to connect a domain name to your site or not. And of course, you can do that if you have an existing domain. But I'm just going to proceed with the assumption that they went ahead and gave you a sort of a generic site here. And so over here in directory, this is where you put the name of a folder that you want to install your website in. But in the case of this, you probably just want to install your website in the main directory, which means you don't have to put anything in here. So let's just assume for a sec that this said, studentwebsite.com or whatever, some sort of random URL. Maybe it's letters and numbers. Fine, just leave it alone. You can leave my blog and my WordPress blog all alone. What you do have to do is come up with a username that you're going to use to log into the website and a password, right? For admin email, go ahead and put your Pima email in there. Come down here and leave English as the language. Click on Classic Editor because you do want them to add that, and then uncheck WordPress Starter because that's just an annoying starter screen, right? And then simply click Install. Now what will happen is it will install a WordPress website for you in the main directory, and then this area here will be replaced with two links. One which will be the link which will go to the front end of your website, which people will see, and the other will be the link followed by WP-admin, which will allow you to go to the back end of your website and log in. And then you'll be all set. You'll have this new web hosting area where you can go ahead and create your own new website, right? Now what I'm going to need you to do is once you've got your website all set up, I'm going to need you to email me the link to the front end of your website so that when they're done, we can do something like we did today, and I can go to everybody's website and give you feedback, and other students can give you feedback as well. Okay, so like I said, the next two things on the agenda are to do the take-home test And then after that, to go ahead and set up your own SiteGround site and start building your new website. And be sure and send me the link so that I can check that out. Okay, and then let's see if there's anything else today. Let's see. Well, I think that's pretty much it. Let's see. Well, I'm in the wrong thing here, so let's instead go to web design. Okay, I think that's pretty much it for today. Of course, you can always post questions for me in the forum if you have them, or just email me. Like I said, this is going to change for Wednesday. For Wednesday, there will be a new video in there for you, and I'll get rid of all this, put some pertinent information in. But that's pretty much it. So once again, nice job on your websites. Go ahead and do that take-home test. Let me know if you have any questions about that. And then when you're done with that, sign up for the new SiteGround sites so we can build our final project. Okay, thank you so much, and I will see you guys on Wednesday when I'll post another little video here.